The flawed VHS franchise has come a long way in quantity, with the element of found footage being morphed into something that goes beyond its premise. While each film is rich with very creative short stories, I personally found Viral and 99 to be the less compelling entries in the series thus far. With that being said, I decided to rank my 10 favorite stories out of all these movies after watching VHS 85. So let's start with number 10, Slumber Party Alien Abduction from VHS 2. It's undeniable how goofy the costumes for the aliens look when seen in close distance. However, this short has a lot of great elements, including something that I usually hate, that being a jump scare that in my opinion was really well executed. But most of this short is pure chaos, and some of the most effective moments were provided by the dog holding the GoPro. In number 9 we have No Wake and Ambrosia from VHS 85. These two short films intrigued me with the questions they raised and the sense of wonder they left lingering. I was almost disheartened when No Wake concluded because it felt incomplete. It was only when Ambrosia started later in the runtime that I realized it was a continuation, and I genuinely admired how they executed it. This is a unique approach in VHS films, where one story unfolds at the beginning and continues near the end. However, both films have unique premises and conflicts. In one, a group of friends faces a peculiar encounter with an unknown person trying to put them down, only to discover they've been resurrected with water from the lake serving as a life-giving force. A soft aquatic pet cemetery, if you want to call it that. This revelation fuels their desire for revenge against the person responsible for their plight. In Ambrosia, we see the same caravan belonging to these friends, and we learn that the culprits behind their near deaths are a malevolent family who derive sadistic pleasure from targeting random victims for their own amusement. It gets even crazier when one of the family members who initially attempted to eliminate the friends at the lake comes into contact with a mysterious water sent by them, and suffers the same fate when the family's house gets surrounded by the police. I found it eerily captivating how these two distinct narratives concluded in such a gratifying manner, all while still leaving unanswered questions. In number 8, God of Death from VHS 85. Two of my favorite horror movies are REC and its sequel, REC 2. So God of Death resonated with me because it evoked memories of these films. Curiously, it is also in Spanish, and it features a team of firefighters in a claustrophobic setting, with situations that sent shivers down my spine when I put myself in their shoes. My only criticism is that it didn't need the paranormal element. It might be asking a lot from a recent VHS entry, but it was already terrifying without it. Towards the end, it took a rather goofy turn. However, I must emphasize that this is purely my opinion. I still enjoyed it because I appreciate creative works that take unexpected wild turns. In 7th place, Amateur Night from VHS 1. For many, Amateur Night is the short film that immediately comes to mind when discussing the VHS franchise. In particular, the shot with a mysterious girl revealing her true form. It is terrifying, with an intriguing concept and a rather idiotic characters involved, who happen to be douchebags. The aftermath and conclusion of this story are satisfying precisely because the characters suck, and I made the smart decision of never watching the spin-off so it doesn't ruin the vibe provided by the short movie. Number 6, The Subject from VHS 94. The Subject incorporates various elements reminiscent of Frankenstein's army, with a particular emphasis on body horror. The main character, a victim of gruesome experiments, eventually discovers her horrifying transformation as she stands before a mirror. The scene, in my view, was exceptionally well executed, with her slowly walking towards the mirror, building up to the horrifying revelation of how she looks now. And I gotta add that the practical effects showcased here are truly remarkable. Tensions escalate further as she stumbles upon other grotesque experiments, driving the narrative towards a crescendo of pure mayhem in the story's conclusion. In number 5, Second Honeymoon from VHS 1. This one is anxiety inducing. Picture yourself in a motel room and suddenly an individual begins recording you and engaging in illicit activities while you're having sweet dreams. It's filled with numerous moments that had me gripping my seat, particularly during the nights. It's a super effective found footage piece. In number 4, 10/31/98 from VHS 1. It's an eerie story that for a lot of time was my personal favorite, with poltergeist elements that are nightmare fuel. It has demonic hands coming out of walls, pathways closing in, and walls changing their form, hinting at demonic possession. Loved the ending with the entity killing all the party members, leaving the key question of what the hell was happening in that house, which is even scarier not knowing for sure. Third place goes for Safe Haven from VHS 2. Safe Haven is widely regarded as one of the most outstanding VHS stories, if not the best, and I'm totally on board with it, foreshadowing the dreadful reality some individuals face when deeply committed to religion in a disconcerting manner. It evokes memories of numerous similar stories featuring a charismatic leader guiding a congregation, posing as a messiah, exploiting their followers for personal gain, ultimately culminating in a catastrophic and in this case literally diabolical consequences. Coming out in number 2, The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger from VHS 1. If you watched Unfriended 1 and 2 and you liked both movies, I strongly recommend that you watch this one. The scares here are super effective, even with some jump scares, because for most of the time we are constantly looking at the girl's webcam window, trying to check hints of something in the corner of the frame. And then when suddenly something appears, it sets a new standard, as its dense atmosphere constantly had me afraid of the dark spots. Also, its conclusion gets goofy, but unsettling at the same time, as we find out that the whole conversation between these two was actually related to what is happening to the girl, which gives a punch because of how gross it becomes. Now, my favorite VHS story thus far is The Empty Wake from VHS 94. By following my channel, you might have noticed that I love zombie stories, all the way from Resident Evil as a kid, growing up with it, and reading the Walking Dead comics. So being fond of the zombie concept, this one hit home for me. Why? Well, to begin with, it crafts an isolated scenario that immerses us in the unsettling setting of a morgue at night. We found ourselves trapped with the main character listening to the eerie storm raging outside, occasionally punctuated by the haunting wails of sirens. To complicate the situation, within the darkness, an undead corpse roams, posing a constant threat. The build-up to this terrifying encounter and the overall atmosphere were masterfully executed, keeping me perpetually on the edge of my seat. So yeah, Empty Wake as for now is my favorite VHS short movie. Let me know your thoughts about the VHS collection and what is your favorite out of these stories. Also, if you found my channel and you like the content, consider subscribing and we'll see each other in the next video. See ya.